study each week for Johnny and Irene part 4 of the sharing Jesus talks about the end times. And it's taken from Matthew 24, the Olivet Discourse. And the folk that hear me may be able to receive the word. In Jesus' name. Amen. Matthew 24, 1 to 41, which we've done. We have seen the sacking of Jerusalem in AD 70. And that was only the forerunner of more dire things that will happen at the end of time. We have seen the end times are rather like birth pangs. Light at the beginning and more severe and more often at the end. We have seen that the body of believers in heaven called to join Christ on earth. We have seen that the church on earth will recognize the Antichrist when he is revealed. Before we read the next section of Scripture, I want to remind you that Jesus is talking specifically to the Jewish people. Matthew 24, 42 to 44. Please turn it. Matthew 24, 42 to 44.
Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore, you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect.
I looked and I thought the Lord gives this warning to those tribulation survivors who are not believers. As I stated before, once the Great Tribulation begins, all believers on earth will know when it will end. The sequence of events that follows is also clear. The only thing the believers won't know is the exact day or hour of his coming. No, this warning is to the undecided who aren't counting up the prophecies being fulfilled around them and don't realize that if they waver too long, they'll be taken by surprise and miss their last chance of salvation. Don't get me wrong. They'll be only too aware of the massive disruptions to their lives caused by these end-time judgments. They just won't understand what's behind it. Remember, confusion and deception will be the order much so, the Geological Survey in America has told lies for years. I warn you now, the number of earthquakes are increasing, and they're increasing in intensity. And the Geological Survey have stated there's no difference. They are lying through their teeth. Think about the analogy of the thief. As the Lord returns unexpectedly, like a thief, he'll be breaking into a place that the enemy thinks belongs to him and his followers. He won't be coming as a thief in the night as far as believers are concerned, stealthily breaking into their world. They'll be eagerly watching and impatiently waiting, counting the days, praying for his coming, longing for him to take them home, to be with them, to be with him forever. Matthew 24, 45 to 51. Please, Sheila. Matthew 24, 45 to 51.
Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his master made ruler over his household, to give them food in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his master, when he comes, will find so doing. Assuredly I say to you, that you'll make him ruler over all his goods. But if that evil servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he's not looking for him, and at an hour that is not aware of, and will cut him in two, and appoint his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
The worst punishment is reserved for those in charge, that is, heads of organized religions. Instead of feeding their flocks with the bread of life and encourage them with the promise of his return, they confuse and deceive them with false doctrines and deny the validity of God's prophetic word. The writer of the Purpose-Driven Church does so, because he says, do not pay attention to prophecies in the Bible. 28% of the Bible is prophecy, prophetic. By their actions, they demonstrate the depravity of their own souls, showing themselves to be devoid of the Holy Spirit and worthy of punishment. Knowingly or not, they're infiltrators from the enemy camp, like tares amongst the wheat. You know? Having forsaken the truth, they no longer watch for the Lord's return, ignoring the obvious fulfillment of prophecy all around them, and ridicule those whose childlike faith sustains them. They are called Christian atheists, believe it or not. They are worse than the enemy because they look and talk like friends. They're like the one John describes as appearing to have authority of the Lamb, but who speaks the word of the dragon. Jacob Prash has just released a video called The Judas Kiss. Listen to it.
What was that again, John? They pretend to be...
They pretend to be friends.
Yeah. No, what was the word?
But they are worse than the enemy because they look and talk like friends. They're like the one John describes as having as appearing to have the authority of the Lamb,
Right, sorry.
but who speaks the words of the dragon.
Right, okay.
Revelation 13:11, please.
Another beast coming up out of the earth, and yet 2 horns like a lamb, and the
Yeah.
as a dragon.
Amen. They will also be judged as a sign to the place prepared for the devil and his angels. But the Lord will elevate to a place of authority in his kingdom those who keep the word of God. Through the intense hardship and persecution of the times, teach sound doctrine to the flocks entrusted to them. How important sound doctrine is. It is so important. We must be careful to follow sound doctrine. Just as some from the ordinary folk alive when the Lord returns will be received into his kingdom with honours, while others are put away in everlasting shame and contempt, so it will be with their leaders. In chapter 25, Matthew recounts 2 parables. The 10 bridesmaids and the talents as a warning, and follows it with the sheep and goat judgment. In all 3, the emphasis is on separating the faithful from the unfaithful following the Lord's return. The faithful will be received with honours into his kingdom, while the unfaithful are left out to be judged. All 3 include a reference to time that places them in the aftermath of his second coming. Because there has been so much confusion, let me make this perfectly clear. We need to take note of the opening phrases of each verse, which informs us when these things occur. Matthew 24, 29 and 30. Matthew 24, 29 and 30.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
The opening phrases are immediately after the tribulation of those days. And the second verse, which is Matthew 24:30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. No one knows the day of the second coming after the tribulation. Matthew 24:36. Matthew 24:36. Please, Nancy.
But of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone.
The King James Version, translated as then, but another translation is at that time, connecting the parable of the 10 virgins to the second coming. Matthew 25, 1 and 2. Please, Guy.
Then the kingdom of heaven shall be likened to the 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. Now 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
I understand, looking it up, that the first word is then. But that can be translated as at that time shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins. This is followed by the parable of the talents, which is also about his return after a long time. Matthew 25:14. Please, Mark.
For the kingdom of heaven is as a man travelling into a far country, who called his servants and delivered them unto them, his goods.
When the Son of Man comes in all his glory, beginning the sheep and the goat judgment, which describes the judgment after the second coming. Yeah? Matthew 25, 31 and 32. Please turn.
When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats.
As you see, they occur chronologically after the second coming. And all describe the situation on earth following the Lord's return. Now the church age ends with the rapture. That occurs before his second coming. It is clear that the only questions the Lord answered in the Olivet Discourse are the three the disciples asked. When will these things happen? What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Having chosen to delay the announcement of the rapture of the church until nearly 20 years after his resurrection, the Lord neither taught it to his disciples, nor did he address it in the Olivet Discourse. No, the Olivet Discourse was a summary of Jewish eschatology given to the Jews in Israel, not intended for the church. So in coming to the end of our commentary, we're left with one big unanswered question. Why did the Lord teach something as important as the doctrine of the rapture to his disciples? Somewhere